What's up with you guys? It's your boy Tyson, the West Coast Cowboy. What's up with you guys? It's your boy Tyson, the West Coast Cowboy. You guys already know, if there's no intro, that means it's some breaking news. Woo! It's some breaking news. But hey, man, so it's being reported, not even really being reported unless you can say Twitter is a news source. But I guess Twitter is a pretty good news source in 2018 because this morning, David Irving's girlfriend of 8 years took to his Twitter account. Why she has his password, I don't know. But she took to his Twitter account and she put out some very crazy things. She's accusing him of cutting his hair, cutting her hair. She's also, more importantly, accusing David Irving of hitting her. She's also accusing him of some dirty drug tests and a bunch of other stuff. And she's blabbing all this information all over his Twitter account. Now, this has been going on since about 8 a.m. this morning, Texas time. So I guess that's about 10 a.m. And so it's 10. So it's about I'd say about the last 2.5 hours, man. So if you guys are just tuning in right now, last 2.5 hours. Now, obviously, before we even go into the gist of everything, I want you guys to look at this comment right below me. See where my hands are? That's David Irving's official statement. He put that out about 15 minutes ago. His statement is, he excused the post. My ex hacked me because I kicked her out for cheating on me. And then he puts the word again. So I just think it's amazing that anytime a situation happens in a bad relationship or anything with these guys in the NFL, it always ends in a domestic violence or an accusation of a domestic violence. Now, I preached this last year. Man, on Dallas Cowboy Scouting 1, my other page, before we got hacked. So David Irving, I kind of know about the hack thing. But I preached this on my page last year, and I told the NFL, when you start suspending guys and you start punishing guys off of accusations and off of the assumptions of someone simply because they're in the public, you are literally introducing blackmail into the NFL. You got to think of it like this. Ezekiel Elliott makes $6.5 million, almost $8 million per season every year, right? If you divide that amongst the 6 games he lost last year, that's almost $300,000 per game. Fix that? Leave the relationship. For whatever reason, though, what I assume and what I see is, you be in a relationship probably with someone for 8.5 years, and then one day all that comes to an end, and you want to then, grab on and reach and try to grab on and do whatever you can to keep that person's attention or to bring someone's down. Because, you look at these text messages. You look at these Twitter messages that she put up about him. There's so many misspelled words like, all his dirty. I'm assuming that is laundry. Now we're looking at the text message in the middle of you're looking at your phone right now. It's the middle text message. The middle, inbox message, third down. All his dirty. I'm assuming that's laundry. Now watch right under there, watch the NES. I'm assuming that's next. What I see in this text message or in this right here putting out, I see someone very, very emotional. I see someone rushing to judgment and trying to get information out there as quickly as possible. And the crazy thing about it is I didn't want to put a whole bunch of other stuff on there because I didn't want to put her personal information out there. But she is now actually, because David Irving's, I'll actually post that on there, but David Irving's agent, did a really good job of shutting this down. So now this girl is now posting on his Instagram. If they take this down, you can reach me on this. She even posted her telephone number. Like, if I'm just saying, like, I've never been a victim of domestic violence myself, but I just doesn't sound like something that someone, who's been in a situation like that would do. I would think someone would want to take legal actions or, do those other things. But everything that she's doing as of the last 3 hours looking for a huge payday, and rightfully so. I think he's going to deserve one with his talent on the field. But I just absolutely hate it when I see stuff like this going on, because of last year and because of everything that happened with Ezekiel Elliott. I honestly think, I 100% believe that the NFL has introduced blackmail, where it's almost as if, hey, if I'm in a relationship with you, I would delete all my social media accounts. Everything. I would delete everything and I would just restart everything. That's the only guarantee way you're going to be safe. And then guess what, brother? This is the number one rule. Whenever someone tells you that you have to do something in order for them to trust you, brother, they will never trust you. That is a fact. So giving your password to a girl or giving your Instagram information to someone so that they can trust you, brother, they're never going to trust you. So I hope David Irving learns from this. Man, like Drake said, man, you got to get them to sign them contracts, man. Like, for real. Like, it's gotten to the point now where they may literally have to start having these women sign some contracts, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take anything from, there are some legitimate cases out there, and there are some things that are taking place. But what I'm saying is the overt, obvious, like situations like Ezekiel Elliott, situations like this where it's very obvious, like, that this is an emotional person. I'm very curious on how the NFL looks at this. And man, where it really sucks is, man, as long as this can stay as little as possible, man, I hope this doesn't affect him in getting his money, man. Because we already know that in 2018, these teams are more about finding reasons not to pay you versus finding a reason to pay you. And then when they find a reason to pay you, then they find a reason to cut you. You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as they value you with your money, you know what I'm saying? As soon as you get older in age, 1-2 years, then you no longer have the value. So it's such a flippy floppy situation right now in the NFL. And man, I just absolutely hope the best comes of this. And honestly, I hope nothing comes of it. I hope absolutely nothing comes of it. But I do believe that there needs to be some type of negative repercussion for, when situations are proven that it was a lie, or when it was proven that the situation wasn't factual. I think definitely thinks there needs to be some type of repercussion, because legally, I would think he would definitely have if this has been to be proven that this is not true. Which we're believing it's not, but I would definitely think that David Irving would have some type of legal stance that he could take. And to be honest with you, man, I'm not trying to see him say like, no, I think he should, because there needs, if it's when it's proven that this hasn't been true, I just like Zeke, you know what I'm saying? If it's ever, once it's legally proven that, well, it already is. That's just the crazy thing about the NFL, man. The NFL is a business. So it's just like your job can come in and be like, yo, we're an at-will company, you're fired. The NFL can kind of like do the same thing. And it sucks too, because they literally held our whole season last year under hostage. So, man, this domestic violence, man, it is a very, very slippery slope. What I think what I think the NFL needs to do to get a better stance and make this more equal for both parties, I think they need to come up with a 3-panel party where it's part ownership, the management of the NFL, like Goodell. Then I think that the second part should be part the PA, the National Players Association. Those are the people that represent them. And then I think the third party should be a neutral party. A neutral party situation. Maybe the NFL can maybe come get a bunch of like judges, and there's a whole bunch of super PAC places that you can pay, and they'll mediate these types of things for you. And what I would do is every situation that goes through, it should go to, like, for suspensions, it should go to a 3-panel judge. You have the commissioner's recommendation, you have the player's recommendation, and then you have someone who is totally non-biased. Totally non-biased. Now, the way you keep this non-biased is you require the Players Association to pay half their salary, and you also require Roger Goodell and the NFL management to pay their salary. So now you have 2 entities coming together paying one non-partial entity, and then it's a third, so you're never going to have an even tie. I think that, that's kind of something I thought of when Ezekiel Elliott situation happened, because you got to say it like this. If they would have had, Roger Goodell And then the Players Association, because we already know the Players Association was they were for Zeke. That was who you saw going to try to court with Zeke. You know what I'm saying? That's why I didn't understand how the NFL was able to sue Jerry Jones for that, something that was legally, his name wasn't even in the case. Even though Jerry Jones paid the $2 million, like, he really didn't have to. That's like you suing me $2 million because I was a Cowboy fan at the same time that it happened. Like, that's the only coincidence. So, you know, I mean, I don't get that. But hey, I 100% think Jerry Jones paid the $2 million because it was $2 million and he just got it over with and it was done with. But I 100%, you know, think because of what happened last year, and we're not going to keep on bringing that up, but because of last year, it has introduced stuff like this. And that is what? Social blackmail. Like, this is social blackmail. This is and what timing? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, right when he signs his, you know, he got his $2.9 million last year. I mean, you have a child by this guy. If it's over, take him to go through the child support services. Guess what? You're going to get a check. It may not be that, you know, that lifestyle that you wanted, but you're still going to get a check. You got a child with this dude. So, I mean, and she says that we know that this is the mother of his child because she says it in the tweet. But I mean, you know, I think this is crazy. And then she accuses him of failed drug tests. Well, you know, we know he had the situation last year, but that was a supplement. That's different than a drug. And I'm going to be honest with you. If anybody, I mean, you can't handle any suspension well, but I think David Irving by far handled the best because he just owned it and moved on. And if you want to go look at that, you can look at them, Google that, and we'll even maybe put that on the page. Nope, we're not going to put that on the page because that's OBS. If you want to look at it, you can Google it. But I mean, I think that the Cowboys, you know, if you're asking me what the Cowboys' recommendation is on this, honestly, man, we ain't about to get into their private business. But there might be someone in Jerry Jones' social department that might sit down with the team and kind of talk to them about this. I think also maybe these guys need to get on an encoder system like me. You know, after I got hacked, my cousin, you know, installed this little thing on my phone, on my laptop. So every time I log in, it just changes my password. Like I don't know what my password is because it changes it every like day or something. But I'm pretty sure these guys are using it on their phone. So I don't even know if they can able to use that. But hey, it might just have to get that way, man. If it might just have to get that way, man. Because you got to think, David Irving, you get 14 and a half sacks, that's $17 million. What you don't want to get is 14 and a half sacks and then someone be like, yeah, David Irving, I want to give you $17 million. I do, man, I do, because I see what you can do out there on the field. But hey, David Irving, hey, let's talk about what happened back in April. And David Irving's like, that has nothing to do with sacking the quarterback. Those are the conversations that's what I'm saying. Those are those hesitation conversations that situations like this happen. I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I'll let you guys kind of decide. As you can read these texts, he's responsible. I've been with him 8 years, left my family to come here with him. No friends or family out here. He's going to jail. He cut her hair. Now she's talking in third person. I mean, it's amazing because if you would think if she's talking about her hair, she would say, and he cut my hair, but she says, and cut her hair. So I don't know what that means. And then she also says he beats his girlfriend again. That sounds like someone talking third person. I'm just saying if you were talking about yourself, you'd probably be talking in first person. So it'd be like he beats I'm just saying. So it's just a bunch of things. But hey, if you're looking for David Irving's official response, it's right up under my fingers. Actually, right about here. Right there. He says, David Irving on Facebook, excuse my post. X hacked me because I kicked her out for cheating again. Man, that's a dirty game. Dirty game. Dirty game. But hey, man, what are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts, man? What are y'all thoughts? Did the NFL introduce blackmail into the NFL by allowing Ezekiel Elliott to be suspended without any cause or reason? Do you guys like my system on how we should judge these types of cases? It's called the 90 rule because you don't need the other 10%. It's called the 90 rule. And basically what you do is, well, actually be like the 30-30 rule. But basically what you're going to do is for any suspension or anything that has to do with discipline in the NFL, it'll be taken to a 3-panel. One will consist of Roger Goodell. He'll be 133%. Other will consist of the Players Association. They will be the other 30%. And then the other 30% will be a non-biased group of maybe 5 attorneys, and I would say attorneys, judges, and maybe I would love for these guys to be anonymous. So there's no pressure. And then, basically, any situation like this or Ezekiel, it is brought between those 3 guys. They mediate those situations and then they vote on them. And whatever comes out of that situation is what's good for it. I think that by far is the most fairest. Why? Because, you have all people, you have both parties having their voices being heard. And then most importantly, you have a party that is non-biased who's able to then make, a very clear decision. So that's just kind of my thoughts on it, man. I know it sucks to even be talking about stuff like this, but hey, this is the life that we live. Hey, I'm about to get out of here. I got to go pick up my son and then go pick up my dirty laundry, Laundtty. We out of here. Never look down because the stars are up. Peace.